All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Carenda Deonne, who is a licensed minister, motivator, and mentor, taking her message of impact nationwide. Carenda, how you doing?
I am wonderful. It's nice and bright and early, and it's great to be here. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. And we like to jump right in. So if you could start with telling us a little bit more about yourself and what you like to do for fun, that'd be great.
Okay, great. I always that is one question I always struggle with. I'm like, where do I begin?
Yeah.
Well, I will say very briefly that I am from Baltimore, as we say, be more, born and raised. I am, as you have said and stated, a licensed minister. I'm an author, speaker, um, life coach. I just enjoy helping women to live life on the promise of impact. I am getting ready to celebrate a birthday, so I'm super excited about that. I feel Geminis are just great people.
Yeah.
But regarding what I like to do for fun and just a little bit about my personality type, I love wrestling. Grew up watching wrestling all of my life. So I have big dreams to make it to Wrestle Mania one year. I'm hoping that will be next year. And so definitely love that. Also, I love comedy, love to laugh. And I always love going to comedy shows. And also, I love music and arts. So poetry and jazz are some of the things that I love. But I love live music and just being in a great, creative atmosphere. And I'm a foodie. I love good food. Of course, I love crabs and good seafood. Being from Baltimore, but um, if you want to know good restaurants, I might have some on my list to
Yeah.
to give you.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. So wrestling.
Mhm.
How long did you say you've been wrestling again?
Well, I've been watching since I was a little girl. So, my older brother and I, we would watch like Saturday mornings, growing up. So, growing up with, Hulk Hogan and Legions of Doom and just Undertaker, some of those great, great guys, Ric Flair and Macho Man. I could go on and on, but I love it. I love it. And I've never stopped. And so my family jokes me all the time because they know on Monday and Wednesdays and Fridays, I'm shutting it down.
I gotcha. I gotcha. I thought you said you were a wrestler and that you wanted to
Oh,
make it to WrestleMania.
oh no. Listen, I have much respect for Bianca Belair, but no.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, absolutely no. I have actually I've never been in a fight in my life, but I love wrestling.
I got you.
Go
I got
figure.
you. I was about to
Anyway.
say I was so shocked when you said that.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. Yes. Love Bianca Blair. But I'm just, yeah. Not never been in the ring. But I tell you what, I've watched and learned some good moves. So I might be ready if anything ever pops off. I'll just say
There we go. There we go.
that.
Awesome. Well, tell us a bit about what the day to day looks like. I know you have your hats in a lot of places, but you
Yeah.
wear a lot of hats. But what does the
Yeah.
day to day look like for you helping women live life on the promise of impact?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for me, it's about the foundation and principle and consistency of certain things that I do. So, my day starts off with gratitude, with prayer, with devotion. That's very, very important for me. And just it also starts off with reflection. And so I also start off my day with just looking at certain things that I know I need to get done, and then those things that are on the list that I'm continuing to work on. It also starts with just also making sure that I want to be able to give the best that I can give within that day. So making sure I stay hydrated, drinking water, getting vitamin D throughout the day. If it's just taking a good brisk walk in the morning or in the afternoon, taking breaks as well, walking away sometimes from the phone and from the computer, so that I can recharge, so to
Yeah.
speak. Yeah. Also, writing is very foundational for me as I move throughout the day. Even if it's a quote, even if it's something that I see visually that gives me inspiration, even it's something that I know I will go back to expand upon at a later date, but just capturing those moments where I know, okay, you know what, this will help someone else, or this will be a blessing to someone else. And then also, you know, doing those calls and follow-ups and contacts, and um, just getting the message out there about moving forward, pressing forward, and not giving up on who you are and who you've been created to be. But for me, my day-to-day really looks at, just being very established in my priorities and foundations of how strong I start my day. I want to start strong and I want to finish strong.
Mm,
So in the evening, I try to make sure I do something that makes me laugh. I watch something that makes me laugh, or do something that is like a detox for me, so to speak. And also, again, ending with that reflection, and gratitude of what I've accomplished during the day. And even if I had a bad day or fell short, still seeing, blessings in everything. So, yeah.
yeah, I gotcha. I gotcha. There we go. So it's starting strong, finishing strong, and in the middle of the
Hmm.
day can be a lot of calls, contacts, follow-ups, but also just doing what needs to be done
Yes,
for the
staying
people you're serving.
focused.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Really, really staying focused. It's easy to get distracted. It's
yeah,
easy for distractions to come. And so you got to stay focused. So I'm very, very intentional about my time. So, people may say, gosh, you got that thing down to a T. And I do at certain times, but it's because I'm just very intentional. Time is something you need to respect. And so, I don't want to spend half of my day just reading and doing stuff that's not, helping to progress myself or the purpose I have in helping other women. So I'm just intentional about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, tell us a bit more about your motivation. What really gets you up and keeps you going every day?
Yeah, one of the things that keeps me going and motivated, really, it's the prayers of those before me. I think about the prayers of my grandmothers, my grandfathers, great, grandparents, and even my mother and my father. I just think about those who um, are are really leading that path or have gone before me, and that gives me strength because I know that even though some I've never met, they have a desire, that those in their family, do great things and excel and find the strength to move forward and do bigger and better things that maybe they did not have the opportunity to do. So, that really motivates me to know that someone prayed for me before I knew who I was, and that stability of love and support also motivates me to press forward as well. And
I
I'll
like
tell you this, not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but even my pain motivates me. I kind of think of it differently sometimes, and I get it because pain and disappointment is real, and it can get you off track or off kilter. But don't stay there. You like just don't stay in that place for too long. And so my pain or even negativity has really challenged me to change it, transition it, pivot it into my greatest momentum. So even the things that I've gone through has given me that momentum to keep moving forward, not to stay stuck.
okay. Okay. Talk to us
Yeah.
about that process of shifting pain into momentum towards positivity.
Yeah. So one, a lot of it, some of it deals with, first of all, giving grace to yourself, right? Being kind to yourself, not beating yourself up so much about things that have happened. And number two is really also learning the lesson. Like you got to learn the lesson. If you learn the lesson, I promise you, it's going to benefit you in so many ways. And so one of the things that you want to do when you're going through pain and you're transitioning that into momentum is, what is the lesson that I'm learning, and how am I going to implement that, right? How am I going to be true to that? And so another piece of that is accountability. When you are looking to pivot and transition from pain to momentum, you've got to hold yourself accountable, um, and or have someone to hold you accountable as you make that shift, because it's easy to stay in that place. Um, and so it's very important. And then forgiving yourself and forgiving others is also crucial. It's super, super important as you are transitioning from pain to momentum, transitioning from pain. And, you know, the flip side is moving that forward into progress. So forgiving yourself, forgiving others is also very, very important in that process.
Okay, so we got grace for yourself, learning the lesson, accountability, and forgiving yourself and others.
That's good. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah. And I'll share this really quick. I know I always gonna be like, wait a minute, I got one more thing.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the things really quick is that I had to also detox emotionally. It's very, very important. And I one of my dreams, and one of the things that I want to see come to pass, I want to see women, and I don't want to leave men out because it's important for men to detox too. But my calling is to women. But I want to see women globally on a national scale detoxing emotionally. And so that is very important. I tell women in that workshop that I do and in the program that I have is that, you know, the heart is the hardest working organ in the body. We have about 78 main organs. We need five for survival, and the heart is the hardest working organ. And so we got to take care of our hearts, so that we can live long, experience life in full, you know, and not have premature death. I mean, I it's so, so important to detox emotionally, to confront those triggers and to move forward gracefully. And so yeah, I get really excited about that. All right, I'm done.
No, all good. We have to we have to dive into what all of these look like now though. So
Yeah.
what is detoxing emotionally? Is it like working out? Is it
Uh,
swimming?
it,
Is it
yeah,
comedy?
it has something to do with all of that, yes. But you know, it's really about working on the inner, right? The inner person, and really looking at those things that have caused trauma in your life, those things that have become triggers, so that when you know when you are triggered, you find yourself right back in that same cycle again. So it's really about working on the inner person, right? The inner self. And I tell people, you know, I've done detoxes as well, like, you know, detoxing of your liver, your kidneys, and all of that. And it's benefits to detoxing from a natural and physical perspective for your health, and so being. But one of the things that I tell people is that the process is not always fun, right? It's not always easy, and you've got to be consistent, and you've got to stay on top of the process, and it's not always fun. And so detoxing emotionally is also a process, and it's not always fun. It may not always feel good during the process, but it really reaps a harvest because you have peace about certain matters in your life. You have, you know, strong feelings of conviction when it comes to your standards, your morals, and the impact that you desire to leave. You care about yourself, right? You deliberately move yourself from the back of the line to the front, right? You deliberately move yourself forward, and you create this this presence about you. You create this maturity about you, that shows your growth even in the scars and in the pains that you have gone through. So I'm a I'm telling you, I want to see women really detox emotionally. I did it. I wish, you know what? I wish I would have sent you my before and after pictures of detoxing emotionally, because you would even say like, oh my gosh, you know, people say all the time, wow. And it's not that I just lost like weight, but I really lost weight, like things that I needed to let go of, things that I needed to release, and the maturity, the mindset of maturity, to move forward gracefully, regardless of what has happened, what someone said or didn't say, what someone did or did not do. and even what you feel like your failures are. It's powerful when you take the time to detox emotionally.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so you look at those triggers, and once you
Mhm.
start looking at them and you get that awareness of them, is it the sitting with them and having grace for yourself in the sitting with them and seeking
Mm.
to like understand it, or is it more like an action after you've identified the trigger, or is it combination
It's
thereof?
yes, it's you know what, you are all in it. I love it. Yeah, it's both, right? I do think that you should seek understanding. You should, because sometimes we think that it's someone else or it's because of someone else or we're pointing the finger. But a lot of it is some of the things that we just have not dealt with, right? I tell women that when I went through the process of detoxing emotionally, I did not just have to deal with the grown Carenda, right? The Carenda at 42, but I also had to deal with the little girl Carenda, right? Some of the things that happened in my childhood and my upbringing, some of those ways of learning that some were good, most were good, but some that I may needed to kind of change and shift and see a different perspective. And so you do want to seek understanding, but I am all about implementation. I'm all about putting putting those things into action. So, for instance, a part of the program, like there are days in which you'll do declarations. There are days in which you'll journal. There are days in which you will exercise. There are days in which you will have like a meditation or something to read to get you to really think about what is causing this trigger and what has happened years ago that has caused this trigger. But I am all about implementation. So it's
There
a
we go.
balance of both worlds.
I gotcha. I
Yeah.
gotcha. I love it. Well, awesome. Let's go ahead and jump into your dreams and goals now. What's your
Um,
vision for your business and your life?
Yeah. Okay. So I've told you some. One is that I'm going to make it to Wrestle Mania. You're going to see me on camera. I'm telling you, I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
Another, and I know this is probably some people may say, Corinda, you're crazy, you're funny, but this is personal too. Like I grew up watching the stories with my grandmother, and she's 91 years old. She still watches The Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful. Those are the only two stories I watch. But I would love to be like, I want to be more than an extra, but like a small little line, even if I just walk at the cafe and just say something really,
Yeah.
really quick, have the chance to meet Victor Newman. I'm just saying, there's just only one Victor Newman. I'm just saying. So those are some personal things that I would love, love, love to do. Another thing is, as I stated before, like I really want to see women on a national level, globally, even internationally. They could be in Africa, they could be anywhere, that will take this message of the power of detoxing emotionally and really do the program, really focus in, and I can really be that sounding board, that stage, that platform, that will share my story, and also help to motivate them. So I'm saying that to say, another dream is to be that prime speaker, evangelist, person that is taking that message nationwide. And I don't know. I think traveling is also really important to me, and I would love to be. I would love to. I'm working on a book, and so I would love to have an interview with Gale and talk about how to level up and the power of detoxing emotionally. So um, that's really my message. I
Yeah.
really want to see that message be a part of someone's lifestyle. When they see or hear my name, they say, "Oh, yeah, she's all about detoxing emotionally. That's the emotional detox girl." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You said
absolutely.
you said an interview with who? I didn't catch that.
Oh, Gale King.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Okay, so we got make it to WrestleMania next year. Have a small line in the stories that you watch with your grandma. And you use the word stories. Are those like
Soap operas.
Soap,
Soap,
like,
well,
yeah.
soaps, the soaps, yeah, not soap
Yep,
operas, but soaps, yeah.
I gotcha.
They call it the soaps.
Yeah, my grandma used to watch this. Probably
She
still
used to watch
does.
those.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and it's so funny because, some people say, oh, you shouldn't be watching. Oh, please. I love it. Been watching. I still call my grandmother, who's 91. She lives in Newport News, Virginia. And if I miss the stories for the day, I'm like, tell me what happened. So, get me caught up. Let me know.
Do they come on daily?
They do. They
Oh, wow.
do.
New
Yes.
episodes daily?
New episodes daily. Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Absolutely.
Wait, are
Absolutely.
there like seasons where it pauses and then they go record more, or is it just literally daily?
I Yeah, I think there are seasons like during the holiday time, you might see some, replays or um so during the holiday time there might be, but 90% of the time it's a daily thing. It's a new episode.
That is wild.
I know. It's crazy.
Are
It's
they
crazy.
like recording that day and then putting it out? Are they recording like a week ahead? Do you
I
know?
Yeah, I think if I believe I read somewhere like they do several recordings within like a day, so they do several quite a bit. I hear that it's not an easy job. I hear that it's very long hours because they do so many recordings because of the fact that it's a new episode pretty much each day. But yeah, yeah, but I love it. I'm just saying.
That's
I want
crazy.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wild.
So
Wild.
I know, I know.
And then we got you want to see women on an international level that will take the message of detoxing emotionally and really focus in on it. You want to share
Yeah,
your story and motivate people internationally, being a prime speaker slash evangelist, travel, and write your book and have an interview with Gale King. Sound
yeah.
good?
That sounds good. That sounds real good. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
like it.
sounds good to me too.
I like it.
There we go. Well, what are the top 1 to 2 skills that you need to develop right now to make some of these dreams and goals come true?
Yeah. So one, I would say for myself or for anyone who's listening, one of the skills I believe you have to have is resiliency. It's so, so important. I was just listening to a sermon this past Sunday, and Bishop Depman said, "Your resiliency will pay off," and that just it spoke volumes to me. I so believe that you have to be resilient because life happens. It happens to all of us, rich or poor, right? It happens. And so we have to deal with it. There's things that we're going to have to go through, right? We'll have to go through hardships and situations and grief and pain and disappointment. But there has to be a level of resiliency within you that no matter what, you are going to press forward. You are going to move forward. You're going to keep focused on your dreams, your goals, your God given identity. The other thing in the skill I believe that is very important is patience. And I heard Bishop Jake say one time that patience is respect. And that is so, so true. Good things really do come in time. And I'm telling you, I'm preaching to myself, I'm talking to myself because it is hard because we are so influenced by so many things around us regarding instant gratification or having it right here, right now. And at the end of the day, you know, there are times where I have to microwave it, right? I've got to put it in the microwave
Yeah.
and I'm doing one of those meals because it's just been one of those days. But we have to keep in mind that there still can be an imbalance, even when you cook it quick. There are times that I've cooked food in the microwave or heated up food in the microwave and I thought it was ready and it appeared hot and ready, but it still was cold on the inside. It still needed more time. And so I really believe that resiliency and patience are the skills needed as you move forward in achieving your dreams, your goals, those things that you are just deeply passionate about. Give it time, work it, trust the process, but be resilient no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think patience is, I mean, I wish people were taught patience from a really, really young age. Like, and I'm talking
Yeah.
like some serious patience because I think it might be the like thing that holds people back the most.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
so often we'll just self-sabotage because we're just not being patient. It's like
That's
if you
so true.
if you had just set your goal like, I'm gonna do X per day and I'm gonna be
Yep.
consistent with it for 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised what being consistent with a small thing for 10 years will do for your life.
What it will do.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's just so, so valuable. And I am learning the lesson and um appreciating the lesson of patience because like you said, I even watch kids now, it's like everything has to be right now. Like I've got to do it now. I have to have it now. I want someone to give what I want to me now, right?
Mhm.
And it can be scary sometimes, because we, as you said, we can self-sabotage, we can be our own stumbling block, we can miss the right opportunity because we moved at the wrong time. And we've got to allow patience not to be the muscle of frustration, but the mindset of motivation, because good things do come in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. What was it? The muscle. Say it one more time.
So we have to understand patience in the respect of not in the muscle of frustration, but in the mindset of motivation.
I got you.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go. Well, awesome. So resilience and patience are the skills
Yes.
to develop.
Yeah, I believe that's it.
And you might already answer this one, but we'll ask it again.
Mhm.
What are the highest impact daily actions for you that are going to tick the needle forward towards your dreams and goals?
Yeah, so daily actions, one is I believe prayer. I'm just a firm believer. I believe prayer is so important to keep you centered, and it's building relationship. It's building relationship. I believe reflection is very important to do daily, um, because it's easy to complain, but just take a minute to, as they would say, count your blessings, to reflect on, your day and what you have done to make an impact in the life of someone else. So I think reflection is important. And I think laughter, please do not in your day on a sour note. Don't go throughout your entire day and not spend some time laughing. So even if it's pulling up your favorite comedian or watching a show that really gets you tickled, but take time to laugh throughout the day. It's good medicine for your soul and for your body. And so I think that's important. And again, staying hydrated. I'm a firm believer, of that. It makes a difference, as well in your input and output. So stay hydrated as well to keep yourself focused.
All right, talk to us a little bit more about hydration because I was doing 75 hard recently, and
Oh,
you,
wow.
you drink a gallon of water every day, but I'd get through my gallon of water and I still wouldn't feel very hydrated. And so
Yeah.
then there's something about like electrolytes and you got to balance out the electrolytes in the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah. I've heard, yeah, there's electrolytes and different, now they have water with different pH levels.
Uh-huh.
That's supposed to like be good for your, immune system and keeping things flowing. You know, it's high, and I'll get simple and maybe a little deep, but hydration, now I will say this. I do believe when you first wake up, you should drink water. I feel like that you need to really drink water because you've been sleeping all day, your brain is dehydrated. Like your brain needs water. It doesn't need coffee the first thing in the morning. It needs water. So I'm very, very big on, at least the first thing you do when you wake up, be sure to drink like a full bottle of water. I think that is very, very essential. And there are times, yes, that you may drink a lot of water and you don't feel hydrated, so to speak. Um, but the thing is, it's still working some things with the, like, you may not feel it, but your body is thanking you, right? Your kidneys are thanking you.
Yeah.
um so you're still doing a good thing, even though you may not feel like, I don't feel hydrated at the moment. But I just think it's important because it does help, though, with keeping you focused, keeping your mind kind of focused throughout the day. I can tell when I am not hydrated, I'm moving slower. I'm not as quick at times. Um, Processing things are they're just a little off. My energy level is different. And I know sometimes water, they're like, oh, that's so. Of course, you can add some lemon or lime or cucumber or things of that nature, and you can drink tea as well. To help keep yourself hydrated. Just watch out for adding like those sugars and creams. But I am a firm believer that when you first wake up, get your brain hydrated again by drinking a full bottle of water. That's
Yeah.
important.
When I don't drink water, I'll find myself getting the 2 p.m. headache.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And let me say this, stay hydrated too by doing some of the things that we've been talking about, hydrating your heart by, speaking well about yourself or saying a declaration, um, in the morning or throughout the day. Staying hydrated, meaning replenishing yourself. So taking a break away from your computer or away from the phone or social media, and just hydrate by taking 10 minutes to dive into a book or take a walk, um, or finding something that will make you laugh. So see it holistically as well when we
Yeah.
talk hydration. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, what character trait do you most need to develop right now to make your dream life come true?
Character trait, I would say honesty
Mm,
is very important. you know, um, I was speaking to an audience not long ago, and I was talking about the importance of knowing who you are, right? There's I don't know about you, but my email and inbox, I mean, there's so many ads and services and things out there, like, join this and this, we'll promise you this, and be a part of this group and take this master class, and all of it's good. I'm not saying that it's not good, but what I am saying is, don't just do something because you can do it, right? I mean, don't just do it because you can do it. Do things that are true to you, that speak to who you are, right? I mean, one of the reasons I believe you're doing your podcast and you're bringing people on your platform is because it's a part of who you are and a part of what you desire for people to grow and to dream big and etc. But it aligns with your purpose,
yeah.
right? And so I was really encouraging the audience, don't just jump on the next bandwagon of whatever it is. Only really align and connect yourself with projects and with opportunities that speak to who you are. Like, who are you? And just make sure that you are aligned with those things that complement that, not just because you can do it. Um, because that it won't last, but it's temporal, right?
Yeah.
So um, I'm very big on that. So I believe honesty is important. Honesty is important in knowing who you are, and honesty is very important on the harvest that you will create. Meaning, being honest, even with how you deal with people, honest in your decisions, honest in your connections. Um, I was telling my spiritual mom that a quote had hit me, and it was, the consequence of deception is failure, right? The enough, the probability of you gaining success on the premise of deception is slim to none. And even if you experience a level of success, it's only temporal. It's not settled, right? And you want your foundation to be settled. And I believe that comes with being honest with yourself, being honest with others is a key character trait that you need to be successful.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Especially when it comes to like, I think it starts with that honesty with yourself and then
Mm-hmm.
willing to like stand on that honesty. I feel like there are micro moments in every day. It can literally be for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, where
Right.
we step out of honesty with ourselves and we're allowing ourselves to think a thought, feel a feeling, do an action, put
Mm-hmm.
up with a result, or function on a belief that just isn't aligned with who we actually are.
Yes,
I feel like every time we do that, we're being dishonest with ourselves.
yes, yes, yes.
And
Absolutely.
specifically, this is funny. This is funny. You see, so I'm Christian. Are you
Hmm.
Christian?
Absolutely. I
Hmm.
am.
You see a lot of people in Christianity who function. They say they believe in God, which I'm sure they have faith to some degree, and then we're all, we've all sinned, we've all fallen short, et cetera, et cetera. But what I want to get at is God has promises for our life that are in the Bible
Hmm.
that are
Hmm.
objectively true. And
Hmm.
then every time we live outside of those promises that he has for our life, it is us being dishonest with our truest nature,
Yes,
which
it
I
is.
think is so interesting because you see it in so many ways. Like even with just like
Yes.
perfect love casts out fear, if you're
Hmm.
living based in fear and you just made a decision out of fear, it's like you didn't allow perfect love to be in that moment. And
Yes, you did not allow that to manifest itself. You did
yeah,
not allow that to harvest, right?
yep,
And yes, yes,
yeah.
yeah.
It just gets me. So that being honest with yourself runs deep, like especially if you're out there and you don't even have to be Christian, because if you're not Christian and you realize that there's something you feel called to do, there's something that gives you joy and you're stifling that
Hmm.
for some other, you're people pleasing maybe, or you're trying to
Hmm.
fulfill others' expectations,
Hmm.
or you think you're trapped in your job or your dating relationship or your bad health habits, whatever it may be, like, and you feel called to go out of that, that's your body trying to communicate to you. That's you trying to
Is
communicate to you.
it is. It
So
is.
anyway,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. So yes, honesty is crucial. It is crucial. And I also think that you know, I one of the things that you have to do, and this is kind of going back in, in my beliefs as well, but there are so many times I have made moves and I never consulted with God. I never had the conversation. I just did it because, I wanted to do it. I
hmm,
was grown enough to do it. That's what I wanted to do. And I did it. Right. But now I am telling you, it is so important to have that conversation, um, to have that time. And, some people say, well, I do. I feel like I do talk to God, or I've consulted, or I went to him and he didn't say anything. Where he didn't speak, I didn't, he didn't say anything. And one of the greatest pieces of wisdom that my spiritual mother had said to me was, Carenda, sometimes silence is an answer. So
hmm,
true. Sometimes silence is an answer. But I really think that another character trait is you stepping back at times and saying, even though I can make this decision, I'm trusting in God, and I'm trusting in the Lord, um, who knows the end from the beginning. So I'm just going to take some time before I say yes, before I commit to consult, to
yeah,
speak, to share. I think it's so important.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I love it. Well, if there were one or two people you could meet right now, that could be a specific person or a type of person, and they'd really help you take that next step towards your dreams and goals. Who would they be, and how would they help you?
Wow. Okay. I would meet, um, I think I would meet two. I think I might have two people in mind. I would like to meet Stacey Abrams. I
Okay.
think um, beyond just, and I'm not talking about it, just talking about her just from a political standpoint, but she has a book that I think is very, very powerful for people to read. It's called Lead from the Outside. Um, and it's so much wisdom in this book.
Hmm.
I like to be around people who are wise. I like wise counsel. That is very important to me. And I would love to meet Stacey Abrams because I believe she's a woman of wisdom. And I feel that she would be able to continue to impart wisdom to help me get to the next level of my dream. So I would say Stacey Abrams. The other person, you said two people?
Yeah, two people.
Ah, I think I would like to meet, goodness, I would say, I really think I would like to meet and sit down and have a conversation with Bishop Jakes, Bishop T.D. Jakes. I say that because one, I have absolutely learned a lot from listening to his ministry, um, but I also believe that he is a person of wisdom, that is full of wisdom, and it's good to also hear things from a male perspective. And so, even though, like I said, I know that my calling and purpose is to women, I think also hearing that wisdom and insight and an intimate conversation from a male perspective as well um, would be powerful. So I would balance it that way. Yeah, that's what I would say.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now we got our thriving three. First question: what's your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one.
Oh, pick one.
Uh-huh. One of those three, and then one within the category. Does that make sense?
Okay. So if I pick my favorite movie, so my favorite movie is Love Jones. That's my favorite movie.
Love Jones.
Yes.
Sounds
Yes.
good.
Yes. Classic. Love it. Yeah.
And why Love Jones?
You know, I'm not saying anymore that I'm a hopeless romantic. I'll just say I'm a hopeful romantic. Okay.
Yeah.
And Love Jones is just, it's just that kind of movie. I'm just that kind of girl. I just love, I love a good love story. I believe in love. It's like black love. It's just love. I mean, and they go through, but um, that love brings them back together. I just think it's a good classic movie. They have good chemistry, even though they're actors, but their chemistry was good.
Yeah.
Good chemistry there. Yeah. So yeah, I do like that movie. It's one of my favorites.
Awesome. Awesome. What's one way you like to take care of yourself?
Um, which in one way do I like to take care of myself? Um, so we talked about detoxing emotionally.
Mhm.
And so that is one way that I take care of myself, um, is really being intentional to triggers and trauma and making sure I'm not allowing those things to keep me stuck. So I would say that continued process of detoxing emotionally is a way in which I take care of myself, um, which encompasses exercise and it encompasses reading and journaling and declarations and prayer, taking baths. Um, so I would say yes, the detox emotionally is something that I do to take care of myself as well.
I gotcha. I gotcha. And what is one action step you can take right now or continue to take if you're already doing it to meet either Stacey Abrams or Bishop T.D. Jakes?
That's so good. I would say go first of all, go for it. Like, hey, we know the scriptures. There were some scriptures that say, you have not because you ask not, etc. But
Uh-huh.
I do believe the scripture. I believe the one that talks about how your gifts will make room for you. I do believe that it's important for me to stay true to my gifts, stay true to my God-given identity. And I believe that those things, they have a way, God has a way of bringing things together, right? He has a way of setting you up. I mean,
Yeah.
he has a way of setting you up. Like you never know. I tell people, never show up, without a posture of expectancy. Because if you show up to things without a posture of expectancy, you have just limited yourself. I really believe that. You never know who is watching, who is listening, who is paying attention, who is who has their eye on you, or who will remember you, something you said, something you did, an action that you took. So it doesn't matter how big or small the stage is. It's so important to do that. So yeah, yeah, that's big for me. I also think that one of the things that I must do is, in addition to operating in my gifts and allowing those gifts to make room for me, the other thing that I have to do is, again, showing up, as I said, show up with expectation. Even with us this morning, I was excited, right? I mean, I was ready. I'm excited to be here because you just never know how God is setting things up on a greater stage. And I would say the other thing, this is another book that I'm reading. So I'm really getting into books, but I'll say this to your audience. It's called The Four Disciplines of Execution. It's called 4DX. It's a great book that helps you to establish WIGs, um, wildly important goals, lead goals, lead measures to move the needle. I mean, it is an awesome book. So I think really fine tuning my WIG goals and my lead measures, and having that consistency will help me also move the needle to the next level.
There we go.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Um, I had a thought and now I'm blanking. Mm. Oh, here we go. Approaching situations with expectancy. I feel
Mm.
like people who go into situations without expectancy as a default, you really do have some expectancy. You've just
Mhm.
defaulted to no expectancy, which is on the scale of negative to positive expectancy. It's just right there in the
That's true.
middle. And then you
That's true.
show up that way as if you expected
Yes.
it. And people get that vibe from you.
Yes, people do get that vibe from you. And people, remember that people want your authentic self. They don't want, you know, you they don't want another version of you or who you think you should be, or be people want you to show up and do that. Just be true to who you are.
There we go. All right, we got
Yeah.
5 minutes to run through this last section. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Here we go. What is one limiting belief that continues to pop up in your life, if any?
I would say I would say one thing that sometimes pops up is that I have to remember that my scars do not disqualify me, but my scars really identify me. And I have to remember that because at the end of the day, um, even though what maybe I have gone through and or experienced was painful, wasn't fair, was disappointing, it's going to help someone else. It's going to be a light for someone who doesn't see where the light is at the end of the tunnel, because it is there. So one of the things that I have to remember is that my scars don't disqualify me, but they actually identify me. And that identifying of those scars is going to help others be better in who they are.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you have any limiting actions or inactions that
Mhm.
reinforce the fact that your scars do disqualify you? So I feel like
Yeah.
you kind of
Yeah.
answered some of the other questions of like,
Yeah, absolutely. Because there are times when you go through, um, you're thinking to yourself, here I go again. Here I am again, back in the same situation, back in the same type of situation. Here I am in this, and just when things were moving, here I am now having to bounce back, be
Yep.
resilient, having to, push my way through, having to start over, right? Um, and I talk about sometimes in some intimate sessions and longer kind of workshop sessions, even going through multiple divorces. It's you have this, there is this feeling of guilt, a scar of guilt, a scar of shame. Like, am I, is this story ever going to change? Um, Regardless if it's marriage or if it's business or whatever you might be going through. But for me, that comes up. Um, am I really qualified? Will people really listen? Will I be judged? So those things come up, but I have to remember that they identify me, the strength that has come, the endurance that has come, the resilience that has come, the maturity that has come through it all. Um, and it is going to help someone else. So I hope that answers your question.
It does.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
does.
Hmm.
Awesome. Last question.
Okay.
What is your favorite belief about yourself?
My favorite belief about myself is that, hmm, I am one of a kind.
Mhm.
I truly believe that there is something unique, special, and extraordinary about me. There is something that is truly not just within natural reach, but spiritual, just um, a spiritual rainbow of so many things, of guidance, of wisdom, of teaching, of light. And so I just really believe I am one of a kind. Like, that's it. I believe that.
There we go. I love it. Well, Corinda, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, this was a great conversation. I truly enjoyed myself. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
glad you did. Is there anything else you want to chat about before we sign off?
No, I just want to say, please, please, if you would like more information, if that's okay to kind of just plug really quick,
Go for it.
please follow me, visit me on my website at carendadeonne.com. Start your emotional detox, get in contact with me, let's connect. Ladies, if you're looking for a speaker or someone to help motivate and push you all to the next level, I am it. So definitely reach out and I would love to connect with you. Yeah.
There we go. If you guys loved what Corinda had to say, take her up on that and follow her at those links. The ways to find her will be down in the show notes. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you on the next one. And on that note, we're out.